afternoon, wherever you are watching me from. Today I'm going to make a little transition. We have been talking quite a lot about business. We have talked about money, we have talked about how 1,000 can eventually become 1 million, and how 1 million, if we are not careful, can very quickly become 1,000. But today I want us to come back for a moment to another very important part of what I do and what we do at Belle Afrique, and that is wellness. Because Belle Afrique is not only about business, we are in the wellness industry, and over the last couple of days, one particular subject has attracted my attention because I have been hearing so many different opinions about it. Sunscreen. I've heard people saying sunscreen isn't necessary. I've heard people saying it's not good with dark skin. Dark skin don't need sunscreen. I've heard people saying sunscreen is only for white people. I've heard people say sunscreen causes cancer, and I thought, okay, maybe it is the time for us to talk. At Belle Afrique, there is one sunscreen that we use. That's I personally use, and we particularly appreciate. It is HEVL 360, and today I'm going to explain to you why. Not because I want to sit here and tell you that you must buy HEVL 360. No, that's not my purpose. I want you to understand the technology behind HEVL 360. And actually, I will go even further. If after understanding what we are discussing today, you find another sunscreen that gives you comparable protection, good technology, suits your skin, and works within your budget, I will challenge you to use that sunscreen. Because at Belle Afrique, our job isn't to promote something simple because we have it on our shelves. Our responsibility is to recommend what we genuinely believe can contribute to protecting and preserving your skin and your well-being. That is very important to us, and that is part of what we vowed to do at Belle Afrique. Now, you might be wondering, what does sunscreen has to do with our conversation about business and money? Actually, quite a lot. When we talked about how 1,000 can become 1 million and how 1 million can become 1,000, we are really talking about choices. We do. What do you do with what you have? Where do you invest? Where do you waste? Where do you preserve? Because if you spend your money on things that don't improve your life, don't protect your future, and don't add value to your well-being, then yes, your 1 million can eventually become 1,000. And your health is also an investment. Prevention is an investment. Looking after yourself is an investment. So today we are taking a little break from our business journey. We are coming home to wellness, and next time we will continue with our business venture. For today, let's talk about sunscreen, and let's talk about HEVL 360 in particular. HEVL 360 in particular. This is HEVL. So first of all, why are we even talking about sunscreen? Let's start at the beginning. What is sunscreen supposed to do? Sometimes we make sunscreen unnecessary complicated. Sometimes we make skincare unnecessary complicated. So I'm going to explain this as simply as I possibly can. The sun gives us light. We need sun. We are not fighting the sun. We are not saying you should become frightened of sunlight and hide inside your house. Absolutely not. But sunlight also contains different form of radiation. And when our skin receives too much of certain type of that radiation repeatedly over many years, it causes damage. It causes damage. You might hear somebody use a big word, photo aging. What on earth is photo aging? Oh my goodness. But very simple. I will explain that to you. Photo means light, and aging we all understand, isn't it? So photoaging simply describes changes in our skin associated with repeated exposure to light from the sun over time. Imagine you have two beautiful pieces of fabric. You put one safely inside your cupboard, you put the other one next to a sunny window every single day. 6 months later, 1 year later, several years later, do you think those two pieces of fabric are going to look exactly the same? Probably not. The one constantly exposed to sunlight may start changing. It may fade. It may lose some of its original appearance. Now, our skin is obviously not fabric. Okay, our skin is alive. It has wonderful system for protecting and repairing itself, but repeated sun exposure can still contribute to changes over time. You can start seeing uneven pigmentation, dark spots, changes in texture, fine lines, wrinkles, loss of firmness, and some form of solar radiation can damage the DNA inside our skin cell and contribute to skin cancer. So when I say photoaging, don't be intimidated by the word. I'm simply talking about some of the aging and damage that repeated exposure to sunlight contribute over the years. But I have dark skin. Why do I need sunscreen, Lee? This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions I heard. But I'm black, Lee. Why do I need sunscreen? Yes, so am I too. I am black. But I have melanin. So, yes, yes. And melanin is wonderful. Melanin is the pigment that contributes to the color of our skin, of our hair, and our eyes. People with darker skin generally have more melanin activities, and melanin gives us some natural protection against ultraviolet, radiation, so all that. Please listen to those words. Some natural protection, not complete protection. That's a very important difference. If you own an umbrella, does that mean you will never get wet? Absolutely no. If your car has brakes, does that mean you don't need a seat belt? No. Protection works in layers, and darker skin can still experience sun damage. We can still develop uneven pigmentation. We can still develop dark marks. Our skin can still undergo changes associated with repeated sun exposure. And yes, although the risk is generally lower, people with darker skin can still develop skin cancer. So sunscreen is not a white person product. Sunscreen is for skin, and all of us have skin. Now let us look at the little tube. This little tube. Now, this is where HEVL become interesting. If you look at my HEVL 360, this little bottle, you are going to see a lot of letter. UVB, UVA, HEVL, IRA, and you are probably going to think, can I just put my sunscreen on without taking an examination first? Oh, Lee, what are all these letters? Yes, you can put just your sunscreen like that, but I want you to understand what you are paying for. Let's make those letters very simple. Okay, UVB for today, remember B for burn. UVB is strongly associated with sunburn. It mainly affects the most superficial layer of the skin, but it can also damage the DNA in our skin cells and contribute to skin cancer. So UVB, think B for burn, easy. UVA, now remember of aging, A. Aging, the A doesn't scientifically stand for aging. I'm simply giving you an easy way to remember it. UVA penetrates deeper into the skin. Over time, it contributes to damage affecting the structure that help keep your skin firm and supported. That includes collagen. And what is collagen? Don't complicate it. Think about collagen as part of the supporting framework of your skin. Imagine the mattress on your bed. It needs in internal support to maintain its structure. Your skin also has supporting structures. When those structures gradually become damaged, we start seeing changes such as lines, wrinkles, and loss of firmness. So UVA, think A for aging, HEVL now. Now here come another frightening collection of letters. Forget the letters, forget. For today, think visible light. This is particularly interesting when we are talking about darker skin because visible light from the sun can contribute to pigmentation, and that's important. Imagine you are spending money treating the dark marks, you are buying serum, you are doing facials, you are having treatment, you are trying to even your skin tone, but every day you are exposing that skin to something that can encourage pigmentation, and you are doing nothing to protect it. We are working against ourselves. Now, IRA, another set of letters. Again, I'm not interested in making you memorize them. Please don't. Think of infrared as another part of the sun radiation that can contribute to stress and change in the skin over time. That's enough. You don't need a degree in physics to buy sunscreen, okay? The important thing is this: sunlight isn't one single thing. Remember that. Different part of sunlight can affect our skin in different ways. So why is that called HelioCare 360? Now, suddenly the number makes sense. Think about a cycle. 360 degrees all the way around. HelioCare used the idea of 360 to describe its broad approach to photo protection. There is the word again, photo protection. Oh my goodness, Lee, what are you doing to us? What does that mean? Photo equal light, protection from damaging effect associated with light exposure. That's all. HelioCare is designed around protection, addressing UVB, UVA, visible light, and infrared. So when you see 360, don't think it's simply a beautiful number somebody put on the packaging. It represents the idea of broader protection, and that's one of the things we appreciate about the formula at Belle Afrique. Then what does SPF 50 means? Here's another one, because people confuse that. People see SPF 30, SPF 50, SPF 50 plus. And naturally they think, oh, the bigger the number, the stronger the cream. That's not quite how it works. SPF means sun protection factor. And sun protection factor mainly tell us about protection against UVB. Remember our B for burn. SPF 50 means the product provide a higher level of UVB protection when tested and when applied correctly. It doesn't mean you can put it once and at 6 o'clock and in the morning, and then you go swimming, wipe your face, sweat whole day, sit in the sun until evening and say, don't worry, mine is 50. Oh my goodness, no. The product needs to remain on the skin. And if you are having a significant sun exposure, swimming or sweating, you need to follow the instruction for reapplication. Now look at my bottle. It's all, so see, let's see, you also see PA plus 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 plus. Please don't memorize another examination question. Just remember this: SPF tell me many about UVB, PA tell me about UVA protection, and the 4+ sign indicate very higher UVA protection in that rating system. Now you are starting to understand why I told you earlier, not all sunscreen are equal simply because they from say SPF 50. Why can some sunscreen make darker skin look gray? This is another question. Now we are getting to something many people with darker skin understand immediately when I say that to you. You put your sunscreen on your face and suddenly harsh, or that color. You were brown 5 minutes ago, now you are looking gray. What happened? You're looking sickish. Some sunscreen use mineral filters such as zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Those ingredients can provide very good sun protection, but they are naturally white materials. Depending on how the sunscreen is formulated, that whiteness can remain visible on darker skin, and that's why that people call a white cast. When somebody say the sunscreen leaves me a white cast, they simply mean after I apply it, I can see a whitish or grayish layer sitting on my skin. Oh boy, that's ugly. That doesn't automatically mean the sunscreen is bad. Not at all. Those are excellent mineral sunscreens, and the technology has improved enormously about that. But cosmetic appearance matters, because I can recommend you to the most sophisticated sunscreen in the world. If every morning you put it and look in the mirror and say, oh Lee, absolutely no, I don't look nice, you are not going to use it. And the sunscreen sitting inside your bathroom cupboard protect nobody. This is one of the reason I like our HEVL 360 oil free. I use it to myself. I've just done it, and one of the first things I appreciate is simply how it behaves on my skin and on the people of color things. So there's a technology behind this little chip. HEVL use is phenoblock technology. Now please don't start trying to memorize phenoblock. Don't try to memorize it. I want you to understand the idea. Imagine that your sunscreen filter are your umbrella. Their job is to reduce the amount of damaging radiation reaching your skin. HEVL then combine its filter with antioxidant and other protecting technology designed to support the skin against some of the biological effects associated with solar exposure. Think about those as the support team underneath your umbrella. The umbrella is doing the main job of shielding you. That's your sunscreen. Underneath, you have another team supporting your skin, defending against some of the damage associated with exposure. That's enough. That's all you have to know. You don't need to know the chemistry, please. But now you understand why when I look at sunscreen, I don't only look at for the number 50, I ask what is behind 50. But Lee, this sunscreen is expensive. When we go there, we can't afford. Yes, I understand. Especially because sunscreen is something we are asking you to use frequently. But this is exactly why I want you to understand what you are buying. I'm not going to tell you that every cheaper sunscreen is bad. That wouldn't be true. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to tell you that because something is expensive, it must automatically be excellent. That's also not true. At Belle Afrique, we look at the formulation. At Belle Afrique, we look at the formulation. We look at the technology. We look at how it behaves on the skin. We look at whether it is appropriate for the skin we are treating. And we look at whether our client will realistically use it. So if you find another sunscreen that gives you appropriate UVB and UVA protection, suits your skin, doesn't leave you uncomfortable or gray, and give you the level of protection appropriate you need, use that sunscreen. Use your sunscreen. I'm not going to fight with you. No, use it. My objective is not to make you loyal to a bottle. My objective is to make you understand why sunscreen protection matters. But when you ask me, why does Belle Afrique recommend HEVL 360? Now you know. We appreciate the research and technology behind it. We appreciate its broad approach to photo protection. We appreciate the way this particular formulation behaves on dark skin, and I personally use it. Now, what do I mean when I say a little goes a long way? I want to explain this properly. It's very easy to misunderstand when I say this HEVL goes a long way. I'm talking about formulation. It's spread well across the skin. You don't need to keep piling cream on top of cream because you think, oh, if I put more and more it's going to work faster. Sunscreen doesn't work faster. Isn't a bleaching cream. Isn't a medicine where you are trying to accelerate a treatment. That's not sunscreen. It's creating a protecting film over the exposed skin. And this is very important. A little goes a long way. Does not mean use too little. There is an appropriate quantity required for sunscreen to provide a level of protection on its labels. So don't put one tiny dot on your forehead and expect that to protect your face, your neck and your neck and your ears. Don't. We apply enough to cover the exposed area generously and evenly. So the beauty of well formulated product as HEVL is that the appropriate amount can still spread comfortably without feeling like you have plastered your face. And how long your tube lasts will depend on how you are using it. Are you using it only on your face, neck? Are you outdoor frequently? Are you swimming? Are you sweating? Are you reapplying frequently because of your exposure? So what is it that you are doing? Those things matters. So don't judge value simply by saying this tube is so small. Ask, how does it spread? How am I using it? So what technology am I getting? And not only that, am I using the product correctly? That's a much better conversation. And sunscreen is not the only thing protecting you. It's not only sunscreen. So now, listen into this because it's extremely important. Sunscreen is one part of sun protection. It is not permission to sit under intense sunlight at all the whole day. No, it's not. We don't give you that permission. A good broad-brimmed hat provides shade for area of the face, scalp, ears, and neck. It's physically protection. You don't need technology. You put the hat on your head. Then we have clothing. If your skin is covered appropriately, that's another physical barrier. We have shade. Sometimes the easiest sunscreen is simply moving out of direct intense sunlight. And then sunglasses is not only for fashion. Please don't forget your sunglasses. The skin around the eyes area is particularly thin and delicate. And when we are outside in very bright sunlight, what do we naturally do? We squint again and again and again and again. And repeat facial movement contribute over time to expression lines. So good sunglasses also have a much more important job. Proper UV protection. Sunglasses help protect the eyes themselves from ultraviolet radiation. So don't buy sunglasses simply because they are very dark. Dark doesn't automatically mean UV protection. Look for proper UV protection, protective sunglasses. So now our protection become sunscreen, hat, sunglasses, appropriate clothing, shade. They work together. And this brings us back to wellness. Remember where we started. 1,000 become 1 million, and 1 million become 1,000. Today we are not talking about investing in business, not at all. We are talking about investing in ourselves. Sometimes we think wellness means waiting until something goes wrong and then spending money trying to fix it. But wellness is also prevention. It is the small things we repeatedly do before there is a problem. Protecting your skin is one of those things, and that's the philosophy behind what we do at Belle Afrique. I don't want you to buy 10 products you don't understand. I would rather you understand why you are using something. If you are understanding why you are using it, you are much more likely to use it properly. And if you understand the technology behind a product, you are also in a much better position decide whether that product represents value for you. So yes, at Belle Afrique we appreciate HEVL 360. We use it. I personally use it. We recommend it. But now you understand why. you understand why. Not simply because it's say SPF 50, not simply because it is an expensive product, and certainly not simply because we sell it. We appreciate what sits behind the formulation. And if tomorrow you show me another product with excellent technology, appropriate broad spectrum protection, good research behind it, that suits dark skin beautifully and that you will actually use correctly, I'll be interested to bring it on, because ultimately our responsibility is not a bottle. Our responsibility is to your skin and your well-being. So please remember, your darker skin gives you some beautiful natural protection, but it does not make you immune to sun damage. It doesn't. Sunscreen is not for white people. Sunscreen is for skin. Protect yourself intelligently. Wear your sunscreen. Use your hat. Protect your eyes with proper sunglasses, not only for fashion. Use shade when you need it, and don't wait until you are trying to correct years of damage before you start thinking about prevention. So next time, we'll come back and continue with our business venture, because whether we are talking about money, business, skin, or wellness, the principle remains very similar. Understand what you have, understand what you are investing in, and make choices today that your future self be grateful for. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you didn't get bored with all these UVA, UVB, and all those letters. It was for you to understand that, please, sunscreen is not only for white people. Sunscreen is for the skin, and all of us were exposed to that, and the technology behind that is wonderful. And especially for Belle Afrique, we go behind the formula, we check what is inside, and we appreciate the technology behind it to provide to you the full protection that you need. So this is Belle Afrique, and I hope to see you in the next video about business.